Hello there, folks. Welcome back to the lab with another shocker, another lantern project, and another D-Lite. Yes, I have had a run on finding vintage D-Lites. This one is no exception. This is a beautiful 99-year-old Dietz #2 D-Lite, and this will be pristine. It is in excellent shape. There's just no rust except for a little spot here, and there's a cracked weld. That's the only thing I am seeing wrong with this so far. It's just oxidized. That's all. And we're going to clean up this beauty. It's going to be exceptional. I just did a 1931 Dietz Junior Sanskrit that I knew was going to be just near perfect, and it turned out near perfect. If I can remember, I'll put the link to it in the description, or go to the channel and just scroll through the other videos. It'll be very close to this video here because I just finished it up yesterday. But we're going to clean this baby up and do a little repair. All right, so there it is. Yeah, D-Lite. We're gonna well, there's really no major damage seen here except for that, and I think we can fix that up. I mean, I might even just be able to just kind of reheat that solder once I clamp it down, and then yeah. All right, well, let's get to it. All right, let's check this thing out. What do you say? All right, so let's get this globe out of here. Sure, definitely appears to be the original globe. Got the old school lock knobs on it. They're just kind of like little fans on there. Orientation is different. Very light print too. Interesting. We'll get this all cleaned up. We'll put that beauty right back in there. All right. I don't anticipate there being any issues with stuff being rusted on. This is just in beautiful shape. Nice. Even got a beautiful new fresh looking wick on there. We'll clean that up, put that baby right back in. That's the only thing that's got any little bit of rust on it, and that'll clean up just dandy. Cap is loose. I anticipate this fount to be extremely clean inside, and it is. It looks brand freaking new. And there's a spare wick, a bonus. Very nice. Oh, it's a beauty too. Yeah, it's a beauty. Vintage. That is vintage right there. These are both beautiful. Wow. Great. Great. Okay. And considering how much this costs, that's just great. All right, and I'm not gonna take the globe plate off or nothing. We just don't need to. There's no reason to. Man, I'm excited to watch how nicely this cleans up. But I'm gonna want to do this this repair first because there is a noticeable bend here. I'm just gonna have to figure out how to secure that. I'll probably use my bungee system, and then well, you know what? I can clean it up first. Let's do a clean up on it first because this is still structurally very sound, so we're set for that. Just want to get it cleaned up, and then we'll fix that somewhere in the cleaning process because it needs to be cleaned around there anyway. But there is a good dent here. I can show you. Not dent, I'm sorry, but you can see it leaning just a little bit that way. In fact, yeah, it's off, so we're going to want to bring it back to right there. So yeah, there's a little work to do to get that straightened up, but I'll use my bungee system and I'll show you what that's all about when we do it. All right, I'm going to take this to the bench grinder And like I've said before, don't get freaked out hearing the word bench grinder, because this bench grinder it's not super old, but it's super weak because it was the cheapest I could find like 25 years ago. And I've been using this same wheel my entire lanterning refurbishing career. And it's just, I mean, I can almost, when it's running, I can almost stop it with my hand, it's so weak. So it's very mild. It doesn't tear shit up like you would think when you hear the word bench grinder. So everything it just comes out of here just fine, and it doesn't go nuts on things. It's, it doesn't etch into things. It's very mild. So we're gonna take it to that, and then we'll come back here. We'll hit it with a junk bit and a wheel bit, and bits and bits here and there, and we'll take it from there. All right, I'll be back in just a sec. Right, well, this thing is looking remarkable. This is I expected. Super clean. Boy, this thing is super duper clean. It's 100 years old, for crying out loud. Man, loving it. All right, so I'm gonna go right to a junk bit. Let's see. Now this one's got a little bit more meat on it. I'll start with that. Not gonna need a whole lot of junk bit work here. But okay, let's get to it. Junk bit. And as I say, junk bit is not because it's junk, it's because it shows up every day, gets rid of my junk all over my lanterns or whatever the project is. Doesn't ask questions, doesn't show up late. Perfect employee, the junk bit. Okay, let's do a little cleaning here. All right, wow. Well, this is cleaning up wonderfully. But I think I'm done with the junk bit. Kind of skipping in line here with the pointy bit just to get at some little areas that I know we're going to need to have cleaned well for this solder job here that's going to happen. So, I'm going to go right to a pointy bit, because there's really a lot less to do on this. Looking good, folks. And you know what? I'm buying these Walmart versions of these Dremel little wheels. And lately they've been all weird and uneven and flunky. And yeah, I don't know if they changed their process. I wish I had some old ones so I could look at them and see if there's a visual difference. Maybe they have a different manufacturer somewhere. Maybe something, with the tariffs and all that crap. Who knows? But they're really pain in the ass now, and were a great value to me. But I don't know. I don't know if I can buy these anymore because they're just not cutting it. They're wobbly. I don't know what it is. They're just, it's like imagine putting like a cutting wheel on one of yours and have it like off kilter. It's all like, nah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But this I had to stop with that one because it was so badly worn down that the center hub of it was scraping and made little marks. That's pissing me off. Made a little mark in this very nice lantern here. All right, back to it. I put a fresh wheel on there and let's see what happens. Yeah, they have changed something. They have changed something with their wheels, I'm telling you. They do not last. I mean, I could get through a couple lanterns with a Dremel bit and it would still look almost hardly used. Weird. I don't know. All right, now we're going to do some 800 grit. Grit, grit, grit. Yes, indeed. 800 grit. Here we go. Now we can steel wool. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I mean, steel wool is still usable steel wool until there's none left. It's just really annoying to use these little tiny pieces. We'll start with these. We'll see. We'll see how long I get annoyed here. Yeah, I need a bigger piece. There's a lot of square footage here. Okay. All right, so we are all steel wooled. We are nylon bitted. We are pointy bit. We are wheel bit. We are junk bit. We're all finished up, ready to treat, except for manipulating this bending problem and fix the solder joint right there. Yeah, I'll bring you down so you can see what it is I gotta do. So down here you see this gap right here. Well, this had gotten bent over. Well, we want to bring it back down like that and solder it up, lock it in place right there. We'll see if my bungees have enough power, because I got to put a good amount of weight on it to do that. So that's what we're going to do. All right. Okay, so we have my grid system, and I'll widen out to show you what that is. So here I have my bungees. Here are my bungees, and I have a hook right here, and I got a hook right here, which is this pipe clamp. So, and I have another pipe clamp over in this corner here. So if I need to go across or around an angle, because me being a lefty, it makes things work really well if we're kind of at an angle going across like this. So I use this to hold stuff down. Let's see if I can get enough pressure on this to bend that back, and then we'll solder it. All right. Ooh, pretty close. I think with two of these, it'll be a definite. I'll definitely get it. All right. Let me see. I want to get a real close look. All right. Let me check with the level. Okay, I mean, it's bent over a bit, almost too much, but I think it'll bend back once we do that. Okay, so let me get my solder stuff out. Let's see. Flux brush. I haven't had to do any soldering in a while. Any real repairs. Been a little while, but that's all right. Okay. So. All right. So I am melt a little bit of that. All right, this is acetone. Just want to make sure we got any impurities out of the way here before we slap on some solder. Acetone that's acetone. surprised it hasn't eaten through this plastic container. But it is food grade, so I don't know, maybe. We'll see. Okay. Now, I'm going to heat up our spot a little bit before I put any flux on there. Ooh. Acetone burning off. All right, and this flux, we want to make sure we wipe all that off before we oil things up here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up this surface with the torch, then I'll lay some solder down in there, and then we'll let it cool for a sec, and then we will see if it holds, which it should. Oh, yeah. We got a good grab there. All right, we'll let that sit for a minute. Maybe I'll even speed up the cooling process, throw a little acetone on there. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so you'll see right there. There's our repair. Now I'll just clean it up a little bit because the flux gets a little cooked and I can feel this flux all over it there. So let me get this all cleaned up, and maybe I'll run a tool over it, the Dremel, and kind of smooth things out, make it look more factory. And well, first let me release the pressure here. And see how we did. There we go. Okay, where is our level? Pretty dear spot on. Very nice. Okay, we are repaired. That's all good to go. Yeah, very nice. Okay, let me clean this up a little bit. I still feel some flux on there. I did. I slapped it on all over the place. I'm going to see. I'll make sure I get all that flux off there. In fact, I had a lot more luck getting the flux off. Flux off. Comes off a lot more with a rag than it does with the brush. So you aerate it so much with the brush that it's drying up almost as quick as you can put it on. A soaked rag is a better applicable. Okay, let me hit it with a little Dremel, clean it up. Beautiful. All right, we are ready. Now, I can see where the acetone and the flux kind of dripped there, even after cleaning it off. So I'm just kind of evening out the surface here, getting rid of those little kind of drip mark things, because flux is supposed to etch the metal so solder sticks. So when it flows down, it's etching the metal. Got to make sure I steel wool off that etched surface. All right. Love it. Love it that we are complete. All right, now let me brush this off again, because we just put more steel wool dust on it, and then we'll treat it with some oil, and we'll wait till you see. The character is going to come flying out of this thing when we oil it up. All right, hold on a minute. All right, it is time to treat with boiled linseed oil with 10% kerosene. Okay, yeah, we need a big brush. It's a big lantern, big brush, big lantern. All right, so let that wick. Look at it wicking. Very nice. All right. Yeah, look at the bottom. It doesn't even see this oil. It's just, look at how pristine that is. That's what the inside of the tank looks like too. All right, so you're going to see the character pop out. You wouldn't think so, but yeah, you're going to see the colors come out. Colors in the spots and the streaks of character there in this thing. Look at that, yeah. Beautiful. We don't want it to be spotless. We don't want it to look like it was in a showroom. Or do we? I guess it all depends on what it is you're looking for. I'm looking for more character than showroom quality. And all this white stuff, that pretty much just really what I was removing, a lot of this white stuff. And that is oxidation of the zinc, I believe, that's in the tin, or in the plating, the zinc thing. It's like called white rust. So for those of you wondering what I'm doing here with this rag and the stick, if you've seen it in past videos, so I just take an old pair of chopsticks, and I put it around like this, kind of like a Q-tip, and I will get in the corners and things where my fat fingers cannot get the linseed oil out, wipe it off, because you leave that much oil in the corners, it's going to get all clumpy and weird and oily feeling, especially in hot and humid days. So you want to get a whole bunch of that oil off. You want to get a whole bunch of it off. You don't want to leave on any of it that you brushed on with the brush. I mean, you don't want to leave it on in that amount. You want to... I use the brush because I like the way it covers things. It gets in all those cracks, but you got to get it out of the cracks. At least the right amount of it out of the cracks. And then you go to wipe it down. That's how I do things. That's if you want to do things like I'm doing things, which you certainly don't have to do. You can do it any way you want. This is just the way I do it. And I hate the way it looks wet in the corners, so I won't do like a glamour shot at the end of my videos if it's weird and overly oily looking. I don't like the super shiny look at all. Just reminds me of some kid got his first car, and he goes and buys 18 bottles of Armor All and just throws it on every part of the car, like all the rubber and everything. It's just overly shiny. I hate that look. And it looks desperate. It's like desperate for looks. Like, look at me. Look at me. My car's a piece of crap, but the wheels are shiny. All right. So, that is that. Now we can put this baby back together. All right. So, and we got this one. Look at it, boy, man. Beautiful. I am loving that this came with 2 pristine wicks as well. I'm not even cleaning this. I'm just going to put it in there. I'm going to clip it, make it look clean, but yeah, I like it a little bit like that. A little rounded in the middle. That's the way I like them. Gets rid of them hooks a little bit, kind of rounds off the top of the flame. That's why I do it. Okay. So, I don't think this thing, I think this thing is pretty much unfired, considering that this wick was sitting down on the bottom, barely used, and it just wasn't sitting there all soaked up in something. I don't even smell fuel on it, either of these wicks. So, and judging by the smoke bell, I mean, look at that. I mean, any smoke bell that's had its share of heat is not going to look like that. Pretty amazing. Oh, I just see a spot that I missed. Speaking of oiliness, forgot the bottom part of this. Normally I get that because I usually take off the globe plate. No need to do it here for this today, though. Click. All right. And let's, okay, we got our cap. Beautiful. Now, let me go get this globe cleaned up. Be right back. Okay. The globe is around here somewhere. All right. Let me wish for it. We'll see if it appears. Come on. Come on. Come on. Ah, there it is. Okay. Okay, great. I want to get this proper here so the locks are working. There we go. 1, 2. Up on the lock knob. Oh, up on the lock nobule. All right, bring that baby back up. Come on. There we go. That baby ain't going nowhere. That's proper. Proper holding that in right there. Okay, perfecto. That's handsome. Handsome, handsome, handsome. Let's come on down and take a look. Here we have it. A 1926, a 99-year-old Dietz D-Lite. Lightly embossed, by the way, vintage globe. Okay. Very nice. And by the way, this is a New York. This is a, looks like M2 26. So this was February of 26. So we're not far from 100 years old, baby. Okay. Here we are, folks. Here it is. D-Lite beauty. And that is going to do it. here for this installment of fun lantern things. And we only had one repair to do on it. And it looks great. All right, there. Let's take a look. Why it's not focusing? I don't know. There. There it is. Right there. All right, folks. That's it. That is going to do it for me for this particular project. And we got... Wait a minute. Why is that? Oh, we're not quite perfectly seated. Yeah, that's probably why the lock knob. All right, well, let me get it. There we go. Okay, that's where we want to be. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me here and the D-Lite. And tune in next time for the next fun project. What will it be? Will it be a lantern? Probably. Could be something else. I got a couple other fun little things to play with here. So, hey, folks, as usual, don't you go changing.
We'll be back with the Magic Tunes for the Armada Room's 2-hour disco swing party after this short break. Till then, don't you go changing.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.